All right, welcome to yet another episode of the Keep It or Change Cars podcast. What episode are we on again?
Definitely more than 10. And
Probably 27.
100. I like it.
We're on a roll.
Loving it.
We're loving it. Welcome. It is proudly brought to you by Change Cars. Get onto www.changecars.co.za. Check out what cars we have there. If you're looking for any vehicle, motorbike, boat, caravan, whatever it is that you're looking for, get onto the site. And if you're looking for insurance, get onto the site, click on the Discovery tab, and you'll be covered. We endorse Discovery, correct?
We endorse the best, truly.
The best.
And talking about the best, I think we've got the best in studio today.
Hello,
Welcome.
guys. Hello, guys.
We have got Wayne Bull. Wayne?
Hey. Hello. How you
How are
guys
you?
doing?
Superb. Lovely to have you here.
Lovely
And
to
honestly,
be here.
it's a privilege for us.
Thank you very much.
The whole point of this show is to give the best advice. I try my best, but we always have a local
Thank you.
A local genius.
genius. That's right.
Thank you for that. My mother says the same thing.
Lovely touche. And for those who don't know, I've got Mike Pursuit, my partner in crime.
Today we've got some cool questions.
we've got
I think we've
some-
always got cool questions,
Yes.
but today we've got some super cool questions.
Today we're going to be rocking and rolling. It looks very interesting. The first one is from Sean. Sean is from Menlyn, in the eastern suburbs of Pretoria. And he says it's time to spoil himself as he's reached what he deems as a midlife crisis. Haven't been there. I'll leave that to you guys. I mean, you probably know what a midlife
Been there,
crisis
done that.
Thank you.
Round two.
Round two.
Sort of there. Sort
Really?
Of there. Yeah, sort
Roundabout.
Of there. Yeah, roundabout.
Okay, so you may relate to Sean's
I
question.
I can relate.
So wait for it now. Gets better. Sean's midlife crisis. He's turning 40 in August. Not married, never been married, has no kids, and wants to enjoy himself. He says he has a budget of R1 million and wants to know what we would recommend. He's pointed out that he does not want an SUV or a normal car. So what does that mean?
I don't know. I just want to be Sean. That's all I want to do.
It's a lovely budget to have at 40
Yeah.
and nobody that says, no, I don't like the color.
Right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Right?
Awesome.
So what are we going with? I know you're probably going to go
He
Audi.
said no SUV. So
Yeah.
No,
not
it's
normal
talking about
car.
not talking about any of the Range Rovers,
Yeah, yeah.
any of the sporty stuff that's high off the ground. I personally think he's got incredible choices. I'm going to go with the BMW 1 Series. I have become a fan of that car on a level that I can't explain. Yourself?
You know, there's so many nice vehicles within that price range. I mean, we don't know if he wants to go new, if he wants to go used. We don't know that. But if you look at, and I've become a big fan again of the Alfa Giulia, that 2-liter Veloce is a stunning car. Over 200 kilowatts. It's an emotion-stirring car that, and
They drive very well. I think I've driven. Yeah.
They drive
Very,
as
very
cars. You know, you've got your comfort there, but you've got some power on tap. You know, so that's something different. If I was in that situation, it would be one of the cars I'd look at.
Now
It
it's
would be-
interesting. And again, I'm not saying wrong for 1 second. I'm saying right. Didn't even enter my mind. What is it that we always go mainstream? You get the question. I look at VW Golf GTI, Golf R,
Correct.
BMW 1 Series,
RS3.
Audi RS, Audi S.
Yeah.
Didn't even think of that.
Correct.
Everything about that car talks to you.
It's beautiful.
It's rare. You're going to pull into a parking lot and somebody's going to say, wow, is this the Alpha?
This
Okay.
is true.
One color only?
No, you must go red.
It's got to
Is
be
it going
red.
red?
You must go red. You have to go red.
It's interesting. Now, I am not a fan of red at all, with a caveat. Ferrari, no brainer. In an Alpha, it is the signature color.
Yeah.
But
Alpha-
that
Alpha
car has got
does.
stonking performance.
It does.
Stonking performance. To give him a second, third, fourth, and fifth option without putting you under pressure, you've got 10 seconds starting now.
100%. Another thing, in which because I've driven it and I really enjoyed it, is funny enough the Toyota Supra, the GR
Unbelievable.
Supra.
Ooh.
You know, you're getting some
Actually, now you're talking. Go on.
Yeah, that is a phenomenal car. My experience in that car, it's a very limited experience in that car, but it's stunning. It fits into the budget. He'll get 1, 2, 3 years old, 850-ish. He's gonna be playing in that field, and also like the Alpha, it evokes that emotion.
Yeah.
You look at a Supra, you won't ignore Supra.
So
It
let
can
me
be-
throw something in here, Wayne.
Okay,
BMW Z4 M40i. Same car.
same car,
I've just driven the BMW Z4 M40.
same car.
That thing blew my mind. There's no BMW that I've driven that is as mental and as grippy as that. I was driving in Cape Town. I think it's Baines Kloof Mountain Pass, and that thing is phenomenal, and it sounds good, like you say. Same
lovely.
car.
Now, the 40, is that the 3-liter straight six
Six-cylinder.
twin turbo?
Yeah.
Correct. Same
Mental.
motor, same setup. In fact, you guys, I'm sure both have driven Supras.
I actually, funny enough, haven't.
Haven't you?
No.
You feel the BMW-ness, 100%.
Really?
Totally rear wheel drive.
Rear wheel drive. So it is, and it's an absolute. It's
No, it's a
just
proper driver's
it evokes that emotion. You
Yeah.
you want to drive a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then the tail's out. It was
Yeah.
like, oh, I like this. It's like you can feel the BMW, but you feel the Supra as well. So it's very well put together. It took me a while to say, okay, but it's a BMW.
Mm.
But the whole package to me is just worthy of looking at. Just go and test drive one. If you don't
Interesting.
like it, I get it. So
Yeah.
you might be a
mentioned-
big guy.
I mentioned at the top of the question that I just wanted to be Sean. My middle name is Sean. It really, really is. I feel like I'm living Sean's dream.
There we
But
go.
isn't
What would
it-
you recommend?
Yeah, I'm going with what you said. I'm going with what you
Supra,
said.
yeah.
Absolutely. Again, it's a Toyota. It's a kind of car. When you're spending that kind of money with what he's identified, he does want to give it a little bit of stick.
Yeah.
That car
Clearly.
will take. That car will take the
Clearly.
punishment. Other than
Gonna
a
do
couple
that.
of
You know
weeks-
what? It's
yeah?
a midlife crisis, and that's the reason
He
why.
doesn't have a midlife crisis. Let's sort that out for
Wait.
you. As your psychologist, you don't have a midlife crisis.
No,
you got
the
a
psychologist.
you got a midlife birthday.
Yeah, but I'd say go for the BMW because it comes in convertible. He can drop the top and properly enjoy his single days and his midlife crisisness.
And you see what's great about that is you're going to get a very similar feel in two completely different looking cars.
Yeah.
So you're not going to think you're not going to think you're getting the same thing.
Yeah,
You are, but you're not. Absolutely not. So that's what's also why that's a great choice.
But now interesting, and again, I love when a person throws a point. Didn't even think of the Spider, the convertible, the coupe, whatever you want to call
Correct.
it in each individual car. I've always said, if you're going for a vehicle and it's available in the coupe and Spider, buy the Spider.
Yeah.
tell us why.
Just because it gives you so much more. 4
Oh, the
o'clock on a
versatility.
Sunday afternoon,
Yes.
beautiful weather, put the top down. That car will blow your mind.
Yeah,
Or blow
yeah.
your hair and will blow your mind.
Lovely.
And that might be what he needs. That's that might be exactly what he needs with
So
that top down.
Z4, 40i,
40 M40i. Mm-hmm.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Congratulations, changecars.co.za. You click on the BMW tab and you sort it.
You sorted. You'll
it.
find it right there,
You'll
Sean.
find one.
And then sometimes
Sorted.
you like to repeat it just in case.
But guys, I just want to throw something in the mix here.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's a typical midlife crisis car.
Mhm.
It's American.
Mhm.
V8.
Mustang?
Yeah, and it's about as subtle as a wrecking ball.
5-liter V8.
5-liter V8. You can't not put that in there because
Yeah.
that's just something. And I mean, under $1 million, you'll get a new one.
For
You'll-
sure,
A
for
lot of the
sure.
dealers are offering decent deals on those cars. So it's also something.
And that is a proper muscle car. The
100%.
only mistake that Ford ever made with that Mustang was what? What did they do that I can't forgive them for? When I think of Mustang,
Oh, let me go for it. I've got this. They made it in 2.3 EcoBoost.
what was that about? You took
What?
What was
the
that about?
2.3 is not the problem. It's the word after the 2.3. That's the problem.
EcoBoost.
And then you say it's a Mustang.
Yeah.
No.
That to me is that's where we are. That's
Yeah.
where you lost me, and that's
Yeah.
why I was discontinued. So
And if you're going
There
to
we
buy a Mustang, Sean, don't waste your time. Anyone, if you're going to buy a Mustang, do not, if it's a 2.3 EcoBoost,
100. If you say, you don't say you've got a Ford Mustang. Mustang is a brand. It's like an Audi R8. You don't say you got an Audi R8. You say you got an R8.
Yeah.
A Mustang, an M3, a
Correct.
GTI.
Yeah.
Putting that 2.3 EcoBoost in, I promise you, me and you have never ever discussed that.
Yeah.
Never, ever, ever. That for me killed everything that I associate with a Mustang. But still a very, very good option.
on the same page, but it must have badges 5.0 on the side. There
Yeah,
we go.
that's it.
Done. As
Beautiful.
long as it's got that on it, we good.
If it hasn't got that, it's 54% less.
54% less. Right. Sean, you've got
That's my calculation, roughly, on
It's very
2.3.
close. It's very close.
3 options. Go for it. Get onto the site, find what you're looking for. Want SA's leading insurance? Visit changecars.co.za and click on the Discovery logo. Our next question is from Christelle, who is from Paul, and she says she heard about us by pure luck. She says she was searching online and Googled, it's time to change cars.
That is pure luck.
And there
And guess
we
what
go.
came up?
But when I think of the name, till today, I'm so proud of, do I keep it or change cars?
Yeah.
That,
No,
is,
that's-
that,
but
that
it's-
is a good name.
But it's spot on, and that's a thought process we all go through automatically.
Yeah.
So it resonates with everyone.
Resonates. And that's why we're here.
Thank
Correct.
Okay, so Crystal says she's a huge BMW fan and would like to know our opinion on buying a one-owner BMW from her best friend's father. The car in question is a BMW X3 18D 2019 with 143,000 kilometers on it, right? It's a diesel, so for me, it's fine. The car has been superbly looked after, she says, and serviced meticulously at Paulberg BMW. The price the man wants for it is 550,000 Rand, and he's indicated that the price is way below what he could get for it. So, what are we saying?
She's being lied to.
Okay.
She's being lied to very, very bad. Her best
Same
friend's
page.
father is
Page.
truly taking advantage. I mean, your thoughts?
100%. You know, when somebody says, I'm selling it for much lower than
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
worth,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
already like, really? Okay, I wonder why. So, you will definitely find that car with lower kilos for less than that.
So Wayne, last night before we filmed, I went on to Change Cars 2019 at a BMW dealership in the Western Cape. Exact same car, 18D, 73,000 kilos. So literally
Half the mileage.
identical price, 550. But 2019 still got 1 full year of maintenance plan that can be extended. That car, in my opinion, is an absolute no-go. The kilos, as you said, are not an issue. It's not like that car's going to fall apart.
No, not at
Correct.
The previous owner, keep that car. If he asked me for advice, can I keep that car? Keep that car for another 2-3 years. Won't give you problems.
100%.
But I'm flipping the coin. Would I buy that car? Under no circumstances.
Not at that price.
Unless, correct. If that car was 370, 380,000, because that is a difference. 170,000 is the difference in price. What will BMW charge for a maintenance plan for 80,000 kilos for 3 years?
It's going to be insane. And remember, it's going to get charged on the kilometers that are already on the car. So now you're going to go and renew that when there's 143 on the clock.
Correct.
BMW is going to say to you, right, sir, how thick is your
Yeah.
wallet today?
Yeah.
Because we're going to charge you on this.
But one thing that we haven't covered, her question, she's a BMW fan with good reason. The X1, excellent car. Would I recommend the X1 18D every day of the week and twice on the weekend
Lovely.
when you're going to go and view and test
Lovely
drive it?
diesel motor. Lovely
Absolutely.
motor.
550,000 Rand.
What can she get?
4-year-old with half that mileage.
Correct.
Excellent car. And I promise you, it's
Correct.
available. She could go to any of the sites.
Yeah.
And you buy that car for, in my opinion, must buy from a franchise dealer. You're not going to buy that car from ABC Motors.
100%
You buy it from a
agree.
BM
That's crucial.
Now yourself, you work for an incredible Mazda dealership. In your opinion, the difference between buying from a franchise, and not because we're biased, of course it seems we're biased. What is the difference coming to a franchise dealership with recourse versus ABC Motors, who nobody knows?
I've worked in both setups through my life. And, you know, when you see things from the background and you're not seeing it from a buyer's perspective, you realize why they're a more premium dealership and why they hold themselves accountable.
Of course.
You know, this and you actually feel it when you walk into any dealership. You already know, you know, the state of your cars, the way your cars are advertised, you know, and just that
The
recourse.
workshop on the premises.
That's
I love that.
the recourse. The recourse to me is the biggest thing. I don't know if that little business is going to be closed tomorrow. I don't know that.
But now for Christelle, whether it's for her or any of our audience, I'll say it once and I'll say it 100 times. When you are buying a car, age is a factor, but mileage is, in my opinion, the deciding factor. A 2-year-old,
Correct.
3-year-old car with 90,000 Ks, I would rather pass that and go for a 4 or 5-year-old car with 50 or 60,000 Ks.
100% on the same page. as
Age
you.
doesn't, cars don't like get wrinkled, you know, like car paintwork doesn't start wrinkling.
100% agree with you there.
So Christelle,
That's funny, but
we've
good.
gained a fan in her. If her friend's father listens to this, guaranteed he's going to say, what a podcast.
That's fine. That's what we have.
That's why we're here.
100%, 100%.
Crystal?
But
We've given you the right advice now. Don't do it. Not with him. Don't do it. Need advice? Visit changecars.co.za and click on the Keep It or Change Cars tab. Keeping with the Western Cape, Camps Bay to be specific, we've got a person named Dean who's written into us, and he's keen to get our opinion on rust and modern cars. He says he has a 2022 Alfa Giulia 2.9 turbo with only 7,500 Ks on it. So
It's
that's a new
not
car.
an Alpha. It's
What
not
is
an
it?
Alpha. What is it?
that's a Ferrari.
That's a little Ferrari.
Absolutely.
Ferrari with an alpha badge. Nice choice there, Dean.
Nice choice.
Nice
You're a
choice.
fan. I know you're a fan.
I'm a fan.
Mm.
Slightly.
That's like So Dean's concern is that the vehicle will spend at least half of the year exposed to the elements, depending on who gets home first between him and his wife. So if the wife gets home first, he's parking outside. Now, he wants to know, in our opinion, do we believe that the car will last 5 years before he has any problem with rust, or does he need to be concerned about that?
So I must say, this question saddens me and dead to it. He's got an absolute premium, top of the range car there. Any car standing outside, that car won't rust. I don't think he's got a problem with it actually rusting, but he's doing that car a complete disservice. The plastics, the windscreen rubbers, just everything, the cold in the morning, the constant moist every morning. A car won't rust, even at the coast, one condition. Hose it regularly. When I say regularly, not once a month, once a week, possibly even twice a week. Just give it a hose down. That sea air, Camps Bay is 300 meters from the sea. The sea is blowing onto his car.
Correct.
So the fact that standing outside at the coast is no real different if he hoses it down than if it was in Joburg. But I'm begging Dean, chat to the wife and get home.
We don't know
earlier.
what she drives. Hers could be more expensive.
Very,
You see, this is where the argument
or chat
comes
to the
in.
builder, the contractor, and say, please
Yeah.
build me a garage.
Please.
You would never get me to park a car like that outside.
I would be a little bit too sympathetic for that car.
Have you
Mechanic or
ever seen
something.
a car that has been parked outside? A couple of telltale signs. What would they be if I asked you, being a journo, being in the trade? What would a couple of telltale signs be? Customer comes in, he wants to trade it in, that car lives outside.
Well, I mean, it's very easy to see, like, and a lot of guys won't cover these sort of things, and like Joburg dealers trying to sell Joburg, I mean, Cape Town cars.
Sure.
Your bolts and your wheel arches, you see the corrosion on them. Guys
Yes.
don't change those things. You can see that very easy. Open that engine, you can see the moisture in that motor. You can mask it as much as you can. It often comes back, but you see it. You do see it.
But go look around a windscreen.
Rubber seals.
The rubbers, they just got that slight brown because it gets that dirt,
Yes.
and then it gets some moisture, and the dirt gets caked in. So I was speaking about hosing it down. You steam clean it. You literally steam clean it. But still, I get back to my original point. Please, Dean, tell the missus that car's got to park inside.
Correct.
Or negotiate a different setup for the marriage.
Correct. Correct. Or you need to get home first.
Yeah, I'll get on first. Steve.
But now, I've been in the trade 30 years. Yourself, how long?
Close to about 24, 25.
In the 80s, in the 90s, good cars rusted. Simple as that.
100%.
Cars in Johannesburg, we're not at the coast. A car rusted. It was just the way the materials were made and the lack of paint technique, i.e. the primers, just cars inherently
Single
rusted.
stage paint versus modern technology.
Correct.
You know, there's a lot to consider there. There's
A modern car, in my view, will not rust in 5 years. What?
So I wrote an article about this, funny enough. Go check it out on CHANGECARS. Excuse Bob, I did. And rust in modern cars, it takes about 5 years for you to get spots. You know those little spots?
Sure.
Insignificant. It takes about 5 years to get that if you're living near the coast.
Sure.
correct. Correct.
Modern
The surface
cars are
rust will
just
be
not
there.
prone to rust. There's
Yeah.
a whole technique before they paint a car. They call it dipping. I actually don't know
Correct.
enough about it.
Correct.
What do you know about it, Wayne?
I know exactly what you're talking about. I can see videos in my head that I have actually watched, but they treat that whole bare chassis before the paint process
That's it.
even happens. So finding rust on a modern car, you'll find some surface rust. If it's got a chip, you'll find some.
So cars that were like most prone to rust in the 70s were Alphas, okay? I saw a funny thing online. It said, you know what the guarantee that Alpha give you with rust is that between it leaving the factory and the dealership, there will be no rust on it. You know?
That is so accurate.
After that.
But how's that? I mean,
That
it was
is so
literally
accurate.
between it leaving the
Yeah,
factory, wherever it was, and the arriving at the dealership, it would have
Yeah,
rust.
there we go.
But Dean is fundamentally got no worries.
Yeah.
But when he comes to sell that beautiful car,
Yeah.
it's going to be in demand. There's not going to be hundreds of them. Mark my words, the person that looks at Dean's car will say, this is not the best example of this beautiful Julia.
You know, if he just leaves it, if he doesn't pay attention, if he's just going to leave it and then eventually sell it one day, you know, there's ways around it. If he just had a good quality car cover that doesn't retain moisture,
Think of that.
just that nice proper quality
Yes,
car
yes,
cover,
yes.
pop that over, washing that car regularly. You mentioned
Polishing
that.
it.
Spray it down.
Proper
Yeah.
polish. Ceramic coating technology is amazing these days. It puts a protective layer over that paint, the proper ceramic product. So you're going to need to do it if you for your own peace of mind. I would do that. That's 100%. If I was in that situation, that car you need to polish it. And also another thing which people tend to forget to do in at the coast is a chassis clean.
That's where I was going to go next.
So how does that work for someone who doesn't know? Chassis clean.
Put it on a hoist, go to a pit where you can be underneath and physically clean it. You can also
Spray
do
it.
it in your driveway.
You absolutely can. You can, but you've got facilities that offer it. You pull it onto a ramp. They've either got a pit or you put it up onto a ramp and they properly decontaminate that chassis. Get all that salt water off because even the driving on the roads there,
Correct.
you'll pick that up. You'll pick that salt up from the road.
The salt
So-
air dissipates onto the road.
Correct.
It rains.
Pick it
It
up.
gets wet. So to give you an idea, I love jet skis. I personally will not, under any circumstances, take my ski to the coast. I know people who have bought skis that have come from the coast, and I said to them, guys, whatever you do, don't buy a ski from the coast. No, but Mike, the guy was taking care of it. He used to flush it. You know what flushing is? You come out of the sea, you run it with fresh water, you get the internals, the seawater. Perfect. Open up the engine. The engine's got little bolts, little screws. Look at those screws. I give you my word,
Rust.
they rusted. Look at a 15-year-old ski that's inland. It's only used on a river.
Not going to have that.
Won't have it. So all we're
Not
saying
going
is
to have
that
that.
is an incredibly important point. What you see is a car's body. What you don't see is underneath, the inside the
They
engine.
rust from the bottom. Generally, they rust.
Open up the boot, those channels on the rain gutters. Awesome.
You know, spray it down. Take care of it.
Right down. We'll chat to the wife.
Or get home early.
Get home first.
Yeah,
There's options here. There's options.
Many options.
There's
One of the
options.
things you're saying is don't chat to the wife, plead with the wife. The correct term always,
correct
please.
term, yeah.
Take it from us, single guys. Trust us. Looking to buy a new or used car? Visit changecars.co.za. So our final question is from Julia, who's a dietitian and lives in Fermier, Benoni. Now, she's most concerned and upset with a local dealership regarding her car's annual service requirements. We won't mention the make of the car other than to say it's not a Bugatti, Tesla or Lamborghini, not at all. Julia says she drives exactly 400 Ks a month as her practice is literally 9 kilometers from her office. So that's really nothing. And she says when they go away, they use her hubby's car. Now, the question she wants answered is, why does she have to have the inconvenience of taking her car in every year for the annual service when the kilometers are just on half of what is considered ultra low mileage of 10,000 Ks on it, right? What she wants is an honest, no sit on the fence answer. And however, if we agree with her, she'll feel vindicated. What are we saying, Wayne?
I've had this question many, many times in my life. In fact, let me give you a scenario quickly. I had a situation where a lady on her 4th service, she was on about 4,800 kilos, total traveled 4 years.
Wow.
That car went to shops and back, and that's what happened. And this, and specifically, she comes up in my mind, this lady, when I hear this question, is how I make sense of it and how I explain it to someone. Okay, so last year, May, you serviced your car. So that fresh oil, it had plugs, everything. It's May this year. You might not have done the kilos, but that oil is a year old. That oil was in a container before that. How long was it in that container? We don't know. So it's not performing optimally. It's absolutely not. You have to change that. And it's on a service schedule from a manufacturer. So especially if your car's still under warranty and a service plan, there's no way
Go
you
for
can
it.
try and avoid these things. Go and do it. But even afterwards, if you put in your head that oil is a year old, put a little bit of oil in a container and leave it on your cupboard for a year.
See what it looks like.
See what it looks like. Shake it now and then and just see what it looks like. See how it starts changing color. It's not optimal. Otherwise, you could do that with cooking oil. It would be the same thing.
I agree with you. Mike?
So
So they often say, is the customer always right? In this case, I completely, like you, we also get it. Julia is not wrong per se.
no, she's not.
But I completely understand why a car needs to be serviced.
100%.
And the oil is the simple key.
That's key,
When,
right?
when they take that car in, they'll do a couple of things. They'll do the basic service, because that's what it is. They're not going to be doing plugs, probably won't even do filters on the car.
That's the thing.
But a car gets attacked by rats. Don't laugh. The car's parked
happened
in a
before.
garage. It gets attacked by rats. You don't see it. The rats have damaged something. They'll put it on the hoist. They'll be doing the service. They'll say, genuinely, you cannot go wrong with having your car serviced annually.
Absolutely
One of
not.
the things that I have an issue with in South Africa, this is on a slightly different topic, but along the same lines. I buy a car brand new in 2010. I keep it for 15 years. How many times do I need to roadworthy that car?
Only once when you buy it.
A car never
In
goes
fact,
through.
in fact, you haven't rode with it. If you bought it
Correct.
new, you haven't
Oh,
rode
if
with
you
it.
buy
That
new,
car.
yes.
So that car
You haven't
never
bought
goes
that.
through a roadworthy. I will guarantee you, an 8-year-old, a 7-year-old car with good mileage goes through a roadworthy center, proper test. They'll check something that needs an adjustment. So again, long answer for
100%.
Julia. It's to your benefit. It's not to the dealer's benefit. It's under service
100%.
plan, it's under mains plan. You're not even paying for it. She didn't talk about the cost. She talked about the
inconvenience.
inconvenience.
Correct.
Every year.
The inconvenience of
Correct.
20 minutes to the dealership and 20 minutes at the dealership and an hour in the afternoon to fetch it, and you've got a freshly serviced car. But Wayne, something interesting. Well, I asked you earlier how long you've been in the trade, okay? Everybody's got that interesting story, okay? Like this. It's an interesting story.
This is
All you're trying to do is
great.
help the customer, and the customer feels aggrieved. Okay, what's the most interesting thing you've had to deal with, where you look at a customer and you say, "Do you actually understand? I'm trying to help you."
How much time have you got?
2 hours.
How much time? So, very challenging when it comes up with us. Is if you find it's only got a shortfall on the car, so you want to buy another car now, but your value of your vehicle versus your settlement is
20,000, 30,000.
20,000, 30,000. And our customers often don't understand how that process works. It's easy to explain to them that's 100% fine, but it's even more difficult when you are assisting, you're offering a trade assistance. But then they'll see that same car. If it's a demo or something like that, advertised at a discounted price, then they want the discounted price plus the assistance you're offering. So
Can't.
you absolutely can't. And that we get often, and the patience levels are tested. You're dealing with intelligent people, and it's like, I'm giving you 120,000 Rand. What you do with it is your choice. I can pay it out to you. I can be put into your account. I can put it towards your settlement. But your shortfall needs to be covered. It isn't mine. It's yours.
Correct.
And I promise you, it's unreal. A lot of people don't understand that.
A lot of people don't understand the basics. So I asked you what's the most interesting thing that happened to you. Something that happened to me that, when I say shocked me to the core, get a client phoning me. This happened a couple of months ago. A new Bucky had been launched, the Amarok.
Oh, yes.
Okay. The guy's got a current Amarok. He loves the new Amarok. This is how the question goes. Michael, I've got a challenge. I don't know how I'm going to deal with this. Maybe you can guide me. He bought an Amarok in 2019, 4 years ago. Financed it over 5 years. He's genuinely under the impression that he cannot sell that car until the 60th installment is paid.
Wow.
So give you an example. The 60th installment, I'm thumbsucking this a little bit, but more or less accurate, is February 2024. So now his concern is for the next year, everybody else is going to be driving around in Amaroks and he can't do it. This gent was genuinely under impression. But remember, Mike, I signed a contract for 60 months. My installment is 12,848 Rand a month, interest rate dependent. He is genuinely under impression. Has that ever happened to you?
100%. We get a lot of horror stories from where guys have bought from dealers before where no one's taken the time to explain them things. I mean, that's an F&R function that should explain that. That also your salesman needs to know his story a little bit, just to and also what customers often forget, and sometimes they'll be dealing with a newer salesman who might not know the answer off the bat, but there's always someone to ask. But it's also often the customers are so excited, and I understand it, that they don't ask the relevant
100%.
questions at that time. So they don't notice these little things. They don't, and they assume this was said and that. That's why it's the same thing when you deliver a vehicle. When someone collects a new car, you can't go into detail about every single feature on that car. Certain people want it.
Sure.
But you've forgotten 95% of what I've said by the time you've walked out the door.
True.
I'm excited. I don't want to hear about this. But how do I start it? Where do I put the radio on? The windows are here. Great. Now I can go home and show my friends.
Sure.
That's the whole thing. So, it's also who you deal with.
But
It's
whether
also who
you want
deal
your
with.
question on the show like we've done today, or for any of our audience, if you have a question, please believe me, it's never a dumb question. You just don't know the answer. We deal with it every day.
Absolutely
it comes
not.
naturally to us. Write into Change Cars, keep it or changecars.co.za, and we will answer it. I promise you, Wayne,
We'll get Wayne again
I'm
to
swearing
come
you
in.
in as my
Yes.
deputy.
Awesome.
Michael, thank you so much once again for joining us. Wayne, really, really appreciate you being here. And this is not going to be the last time. And for you, if you have any questions, car-related, service-related, insurance, buying, selling, whatever it is, email us, podcast@changecars.co.za. And if you're looking for, say, a caravan or a boat or a jet ski, get onto changecars.co.za. click the Leisure tab. It's a new tab on the site, and you'll find what you're looking for. We also endorse Discovery Insure. So if you're looking for insurance, get on the ChangeCARS website and click on the Discovery tab. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. For South Africa's best motoring content, catch all things motoring on DSTV channel 189 and on YouTube. New episodes every week.